Welcome to Behind the Badge with your special guest, Lieutenant Williams, your news source for all things police in the city of Fond du Lac.
Another edition of Behind the Badge. We got Officer Clapper and Lieutenant Williams in the studio this morning. And we talked about this 2 weeks ago when Officer Clapper was in the studio, that we were going to play a little question and answer game. So that's what we're going to do today. I was tasked with putting together a bunch of questions, and I hope you guys are ready for these questions. I guess we could probably maybe a little talk about some other stuff to get things going. How is life? How is Lieutenant Williams dealing with everything?
Doing really good. We'll see how I am after these questions.
All right, let's jump right in. I'm going to go kind of all over the place. You guys got the questions ahead of time, but I'm not going to go in the order that I sent them to you. So you hear people say all the times that I only got pulled over, I only got a ticket because of a ticket quota. Do officers have to write so many tickets a month, a week? Is that a true fact or no?
Absolutely not. I'm not sure. I can't speak for every agency in the United States, but definitely for Fond du Lac PD or in this area, we do not have any quotas or anything, a minimum sort of contacts that we need to have. So it's just more kind of an officer's discretion depending upon the violation or the severity of, if it wasn't a traffic violation, the severity of the alleged crime, I guess you could say, or ordinance violation. So definitely not around here, although some people may beg to differ.
Gotcha, makes sense. And what is the most common ticket that you guys write?
We discussed this.
Yeah, we think for like if it's non-traffic, it's kind of like the disorderly conduct. It's probably because that is like kind of the catch-all of everything. Like if you can't figure out where it lies, it's kind of lies in that disorderly conduct, and that's because the statute is so broad. It covers so much. But for traffic, I would probably registration.
Registration or operating without a license or valid license, you know, like your license is suspended or revoked. Do that or registration.
Right. So in the state of Wisconsin, if just by an officer running your license plate and clicking a couple other buttons, they can find out if the registered owner of that vehicle has a suspended or revoked driver's license. And if you kind of match the descriptions of that person, that's enough to do a traffic stop. The courts have ruled that there's probably a good reason that a good chance that registered owner is operating that vehicle, and so it's kind of an easy stop. But like we don't want people that don't have driver's license to be driving, because ultimately those are the people that end up hitting someone, and then all of a sudden then you don't have any recourse as far as usually don't have insurance then too, and all these other things. So.
And while you're talking about insurance right now, if you pull somebody over, you ask for their license, insurance, and registration. If their insurance, they don't have the proper insurance card in there, is that a ticket?
It can be. Now there is a little bit of officer discretion on there. Everyone should have their proper insurance card on them. Now if you have your insurance and the officer gives you a ticket, but then you're able to present that you were covered at that time, then the ticket's a lesser amount. However, if you don't have it and and you weren't covered on that time, then yeah, it's actually a pretty substantial ticket.
Yeah, I think it's $124, something like that. But it depends. Like if you're friendly and you're cooperative, and you don't really have a driving record. I like to think that I'm a nice guy and I'm fair. So I usually just give the proof of insurance ticket, or operating without no proof of insurance, which is a $10 ticket.
Gotcha.
Compared to $124.
Yeah, big difference there.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, or you could get like a 10-day warning, as we call it. It says you have 10 days to present that you actually have insurance during it. So there's a lot of different ways you can handle it. The thing is, we have to be thinking out there as officers of those people that get involved in crashes, and then all of a sudden, like, they get hurt in this crash. It's not their fault, and the other person's not insured. Then that goes. That ultimately it's going to be their insurance ends up paying for it, and that's not right.
So you just mentioned that there. So say we are both driving our vehicles just on Main Street right now. I don't have insurance. I actually do. I have insurance.
Okay.
In this scenario, I do not. I hit you. It's 100% my fault. But since I don't have insurance, your insurance company still pays for it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, eventually they're going to have to, but you pay. Everyone pays that has insurance, uninsured motorists, and that's what that coverage is for. Is to cover that. Now, if you're in a crash and you don't have insurance, it's almost an automatic ticket. I don't know of anyone that wouldn't write that. So because that's an accident or crash basically involves insurance. So that's very pertinent information, and we're gonna penalize if you don't have insurance and you're involved in a crash.
Gotcha, makes sense. Talking about tickets there, how about the most common arrest? What's the most common arrest that you guys make?
I would say, once again, we kind of touched on this with the tickets, but disorderly conduct, not only for where we have, some people think of disorderly conduct, thinking of maybe getting into a bar fight or something like that, but also we have domestic violence laws in the state of Wisconsin that are pretty restrictive. So basically, if the level of criteria is met for disorderly conduct charge and the people meet domestic violence criteria, whether that be like they live together, they have kids in common, or have been married, or ever been married, we have to make an arrest. So the state law requires it, and so does our department policy. So I would say that's probably the most common arrest in general, but also in our domestic violence offenses as well, unless you were to disagree, Lieutenant.
Well, I'm going to cop out of this one a little bit. See? Yeah, bad joke. But I would say that's true, but like kind of the catch-all of that is like our warrant arrests, because warrants can be issued for anything. For a speeding ticket, you failure to pay, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. And a majority of the things that we're actually bringing people to jail for are usually like warrants and stuff like that, because we have a lot of good officers that keep track of who has warrants and who doesn't. They know who's in town, and they end up picking up people on those warrants pretty. But a lot of them stem from those things that Officer Clapper was saying. So I'll say that mine was kind of a cheat, and he's probably right.
Gotcha. So you mentioned warrants there. So do we have like bounty hunters that come through Fond du Lac and they help you guys out? Like, is that a thing?
Like Boba Fett?
I've never, not that I'm aware of.
No, it's a little bit different. It wouldn't be profitable for them because, in other states they have that. They have kind of like the bail bondsmen and stuff like that, and there's bounties and all that. We don't have that in Wisconsin, so it wouldn't be profitable. But maybe that's a good retirement gig down the line.
Yeah. There you go. How soon until Lieutenant Williams is retiring?
I got a ways yet. I got probably 9 years yet. So
9 years isn't that long. You're not that old, are you? Or did they kick you out?
I'm 44, so cops can go around 50, but like 53, 55, somewhere in that range is usually about the time where it's most profitable for officers to go.
Gotcha, makes sense there. Obviously, you guys go out on a lot of calls, and normally most of them, you don't look forward to, but is there a certain thing when it goes over the radio you look forward to it, or you're not necessarily happy, but you enjoy that call?
It's definitely person specific. I'll let you go first.
Oh, that's a very tough and broad question. So one thing I'm very passionate about is domestic violence and domestic violence investigations. I've had some stuff go on in my personal and family life that made me really passionate about that. So that's one thing that, although somebody is going through some sort of crisis or tough time in their life, I enjoy being able to go there and be the
one that fixes it or tries to fix it, right?
Absolutely, being the light in the dark times, another thing that is bad for someone, but I enjoy investigating and coming to a resolution of, is like sexual assaults of children. That's really, I think that's why a lot of people get into police work, because they want to catch the bad guys and the child predators and stuff like that. And when you actually have a case where somebody or a child is sexually assaulted and it follows through with an arrest, it is very, satisfying to me, because you know that you made a difference without a doubt, and that's kind of why we all get into this career.
Yeah, for me, I mean, those are better answers than mine, I'll be honest. But for me, it's always it was always the thrill of the chase. If you hear that someone's running and you want to go, and there's just something about catching people like that are running. And there's certain calls that you can go to or it's going to happen more frequently, or there's a chance of it, and those are the people that are really trying to get away, and probably for some sort of reason. But it's kind of a cat and mouse game, and it is, so I guess it's kind of the adrenaline kind of thing, but it is also, I don't want to say fun, but it does make things interesting.
How many of those have you been on?
Oh, a ton.
A ton?
Yeah, I'm old. I've been here for 20 years, so
I saw your eyes light up when I asked it. Like you were just getting excited just thinking about it.
There's a lot of stories we could go into, and I have done some creative things to find people, and that would be a really good show at some point. But I don't want to give away all my secrets yet, even though I'm in an office now.
I do agree with you though on that. That is definitely enjoyable. Where you hear that over the radio, an officer calling out in a foot chase or a car chase, and you're like, oh, it's go time. Like this is one of the reasons why I chose to be a cop, and it's stuff like I used to watch on TV when I was a kid. Watching cops. So that's always fun as well to me.
And you guys mentioned, you enjoy being an officer, but if you guys weren't officers, what would you guys be doing with your life, or what would you envision?
I have a perfect answer. So I'm really passionate about sports, especially baseball and the Milwaukee Brewers. So my dream job would be to be like a beat writer for the Brewers or some sort of broadcaster or something like that for the Brewers.
Do you have good writing skills, though?
I mean, I write police reports, so or even grounds crew. I love mowing my lawn and making it look perfect. So I would like to do something like that. Hopefully, maybe someone in the Milwaukee Brewers organization is listening to this right now, and they'll hit me up and
steal you away.
Yeah.
I was a radio, TV, film major in college for a little bit, so I was kind of into that, like editing and stuff, but I kind of got out of it before all the computers kind of took that big upgrade, and I would need to be well versed on the newer versions. But ultimately, I think a teacher would be. My dad was a teacher. I feel like I do a lot of teaching now already, but that would be my passion is working in the schools too. I got a taste of that, so it was kind of neat. So teaching.
What are the perks of being an officer?
Ooh.
That's sad that we gotta wait to answer that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, being a police officer, you make a difference in your community every day, whether it's responding to medical calls and saving people's lives or saving someone from being assaulted, stuff like that. But I think for us, as like a job aspect, I think our retirement system is really good. We have a lot of very good benefits, like we were just talking about with retirement. Recently, an officer can retire at age of 53. Not many places can do that. So you can do 25 years or 30 years in law enforcement, retire with your full pension. Our benefits are really good. Our pay is pretty good. Insurance is really good as well. So there's a lot of good perks as well to go along with that.
I think, not to get too profound here is, why are we here on this earth? Like to experience life, right? And I don't know of another job out there where you can experience life more thoroughly. Now there's ups, there's downs, there's everything, there's lefts, there's rights. But you get to see it all and you be there for it all, and you can know that you have made a change for the better, for the future, by doing this job. So that it's kind of profound. Didn't want to go deep on you, but it is that. It's you get to see everything, all aspects of life.
I was just kind of wondering, like, if you guys got like free coffee from McDonald's or something. That was my question, basically.
No, we went deep.
Gotcha. Before I let you guys get out of here, ask you one more. You hear the saying that, like, don't get a red vehicle, they get pulled over the most. Is there any truth to that? Does the color of the vehicle really matter?
No.
No, it's zero.
It's your driving behavior is what matters, really.
And now we actually have a couple of those vehicles that have the automatic plate readers on them. So like that could just be a reason that your plate came up as being suspended or whatever. So
what do you mean an automatic plate reader? You gotta go into more details about this.
Oh, so there's a couple of our squad cars that have infrared cameras on them, and they read and run every license plate around them. So whether it be in front of them, behind them, on the side of them, we found like stolen vehicles that way and a bunch of other vehicles that way. We could do another whole show on that.
The huge benefit, I've driven that squad car many times. I think it's very good technology for that reason too, but also because we can go back into a database. So every license plate it runs, our cars have GPS in it. So it gives you the coordinates like latitude and longitude. And let's just say we have a homicide investigation or some big crime. We can get the suspect's license plate and we can just say, hey, run this into this system, and then they can go back and say, well, this car's been at this location at this time, or it frequents this location. So if we're looking for somebody, or if we're trying to piece that person to that crime, we can go back and say, yep, this is where this happened, just because of these cameras on top of our squad car.
Wow, that's tremendous. Technology keeps changing, and you guys,
it does.
How many vehicles do you guys currently have like that?
We have two.
2. Awesome. Guys, really appreciate the time today for Behind the Badge. We'll let you get out of here, and we will chat next Friday.